Imagine waking up one morning only to discover that God has lost faith in humanity. Not because of a single war. Not because of one terrible crime. But because mankind has fallen so far from its purpose that heaven itself has decided the human race no longer deserves to exist. What if the angels, once believed to be humanity's protectors, were suddenly ordered to become its executioners? That terrifying idea forms the heart of Legion, the 2010 supernatural action thriller that transforms a quiet roadside diner into the final battlefield between heaven and earth. The story begins not with monsters or explosions, but with a decision made in heaven. God has become silent. No explanations, no warnings, only a single command delivered to the angels. Destroy humanity. Unlike the biblical stories most people know, Legion presents angels as unstoppable warriors rather than gentle guardians. They don't breathe, they don't tire, they don't hesitate. Their only purpose is to carry out God's will. Every angel obeys the command. Except one, the Archangel Michael. Michael has watched humanity for thousands of years. He has seen their cruelty, their mistakes, and their endless failures. But he has also witnessed love, sacrifice, forgiveness, and hope. He refuses to believe mankind deserves extinction. Choosing humanity over heaven comes with an unimaginable price. Michael cuts off his own wings. The moment the brilliant white feathers fall to the ground, he is no longer an angel. He becomes mortal, bleeding, vulnerable. For the first time in his existence, Michael can feel pain. He steals an arsenal of weapons, loads a police vehicle with ammunition, and drives into the desert with only one mission: protect a child who has not even been born. Far away in the Mojave Desert sits a small roadside diner called Paradise Falls. Business is slow. The employees have no idea that the fate of the entire human race is about to land on their doorstep. Working at the diner is Charlie, a young waitress who is several months pregnant. Life hasn't been kind to her. The baby's father abandoned her. She isn't even sure she wants to become a mother. To Charlie, the pregnancy feels more like a burden than a blessing. Also inside the diner are a handful of ordinary strangers. Bob Hansen owns the diner and tries to keep everyone together despite struggling financially. His son, Jeep, dreams of escaping the tiny desert town and secretly has feelings for Charlie. A traveling family stops by during a road trip, including a worried father, his teenage daughter Audrey, and her rebellious boyfriend Howard. An elderly customer quietly enjoys breakfast, while another man waits for his car to be repaired. They couldn't be more different. Yet before the day ends, they'll all be fighting for survival together. The first sign that something is terribly wrong seems almost insignificant. An elderly woman enters the diner asking for a steak. The cook politely explains that the kitchen has stopped serving breakfast. The woman smiles, then calmly says she would rather eat the unborn baby growing inside Charlie. The room falls completely silent. Before anyone can react, the old woman climbs onto the ceiling like a spider, snarling with unnatural strength and attacking everyone inside. It takes several people to stop her. When they finally manage to kill her, no one can understand what they've just witnessed. Was she possessed, insane, or something far worse? Moments later, every television and radio station suddenly goes dead. Cell phones stop working. The outside world disappears into complete silence. Then Michael arrives. Armed from head to toe, covered in blood, and carrying enough weapons for a small army, he walks into the diner. The frightened survivors immediately assume he's another dangerous stranger. Michael quickly proves otherwise. He reveals an unbelievable truth. The old woman wasn't simply possessed. She was being controlled by angels. God has withdrawn his protection from humanity, and heaven has begun using ordinary people as vessels to wipe out the last hope of mankind. No one believes him, until they step outside. The roads surrounding the diner are filled with people standing perfectly still. Hundreds of them, young, old, men, women, children. None of them move, none of them speak. They simply stare at the diner. Waiting, Michael tells the group that Charlie's unborn child is the key to humanity's future. He doesn't fully understand why. He only knows one thing. If the baby dies, humanity dies with it, and somewhere above the desert skies, the armies of heaven are already on their way. The survivors struggle to accept what Michael has just told them. The idea that heaven itself is trying to destroy humanity sounds impossible. But deep down, they all know something is terribly wrong. The motionless people surrounding the diner haven't moved for hours. They simply wait, watching. Then, without warning, they attack. Hundreds of possessed humans rush toward the diner at once. Their faces are expressionless. They don't scream. They don't feel pain. They throw themselves against windows and doors with terrifying determination. Michael immediately takes control. He orders everyone to barricade every entrance while he opens fire on the attackers. Bullets tear through the possessed bodies, but more keep coming. It isn't a battle against people anymore. It's a battle against an army being controlled by something far more powerful. After a brutal fight, the group barely survives. Everyone realizes Michael was telling the truth. This is only the beginning. Inside the diner, fear slowly turns into desperation. Charlie can't understand why her unborn child is so important. Michael explains that he wasn't given every answer. God has remained completely silent. The angels simply received an order to eliminate humanity before the child could be born. Michael chose to rebel because he believes every human life deserves the chance to choose between good and evil. That freedom is what separates people from angels. As night falls, another terrifying visitor arrives. An ice cream truck slowly rolls toward the diner. At first, it looks abandoned. Then dozens of possessed children climb out, smiling, laughing, but their innocent appearance quickly disappears. Within seconds, they launch themselves at the building with shocking violence. The sight is even more disturbing than the first attack. The survivors hesitate. No one wants to fight children. Michael knows they no longer have a choice. The possessed aren't children anymore. They're weapons. Another fierce battle erupts. Windows shatter. Vehicles explode. The diner begins falling apart piece by piece. Although they manage to survive once again, their supplies are running dangerously low. Ammunition is almost gone. Food is limited. Hope is beginning to disappear. Meanwhile, Jeep grows closer to Charlie. He promises to protect both her and the unborn baby no matter what happens. For the first time, Charlie begins believing she isn't completely alone. She finally starts seeing the child not as a burden, but as someone worth fighting for. Then everything changes. A brilliant light appears in the sky. The possessed suddenly stop attacking. They all step backward at the exact same moment. Even Michael looks frightened. He recognizes what's happening immediately. This isn't another wave of possessed humans. It's someone far more dangerous. Descending from the heavens is the Archangel Gabriel. Unlike Michael, Gabriel never questioned God's command. He remains completely loyal. Powerful white wings spread behind him as he calmly walks toward the diner. His presence alone fills the area with overwhelming power. Gabriel doesn't hate humanity. He simply believes obedience is more important than compassion. To him, God's command is absolute. If humanity must disappear, then it will disappear. Michael steps outside to face his former brother. The two archangels stand opposite one another beneath the desert sky. For centuries they fought beside each other. Now they stand on opposite sides of heaven's greatest conflict. Gabriel gives Michael one final opportunity. Return to heaven. Accept God's judgment. Allow the child to die. Michael refuses without hesitation. He tells Gabriel that humanity is flawed, but those flaws are exactly what make people capable of love, sacrifice, and redemption. Gabriel disagrees. He believes mankind has become beyond saving. Their disagreement quickly turns into a brutal fight unlike anything the survivors have ever witnessed. Two archangels crash through walls, vehicles, and buildings with incredible force. Michael may have become mortal, but his centuries of combat experience make him an incredibly dangerous opponent. Even so, Gabriel still possesses his divine strength. The battle pushes Michael to his limits. Eventually, Gabriel overpowers him. Michael falls to the ground, beaten and bleeding. Gabriel walks calmly toward the diner. No one is left to stop him. Charlie holds her newborn child close as Jeep desperately stands between them and the Archangel, even though he knows he has almost no chance of surviving. In that moment, Jeep finally proves that true courage isn't about having power. It's about standing your ground when protecting the people you love. Just as Gabriel reaches for the baby, Michael finds the strength to stand once more. The final battle between the two brothers decides not only the child's future, but the future of humanity itself. Michael slowly rises to his feet. His body is covered in wounds. He's exhausted, bleeding, and no longer possesses the full power of an archangel. Across from him stands Gabriel, still glowing with divine strength. The difference between them couldn't be greater. Yet Michael refuses to back down. The two brothers charge toward each other one final time. Their battle shakes the entire diner. Tables shatter, walls collapse, vehicles outside explode from the force of their attacks. Every survivor watches in complete disbelief. This is no longer a fight between good and evil. It's a fight between two different beliefs. Gabriel believes unquestioning obedience is the highest virtue. Michael believes compassion is greater than blind loyalty. Neither is willing to surrender. Eventually, Gabriel gains the upper hand once again. He lifts Michael into the air and prepares to deliver the final blow. Michael can barely fight back. It seems as though heaven has won. But then, something unexpected happens. Instead of running away, Jeep steps forward. Armed with nothing more than an ordinary weapon and unbelievable courage, he places himself directly between Gabriel and Charlie's baby. Gabriel doesn't even consider Jeep a threat. He simply orders him to move aside. Jeep refuses. He knows he cannot defeat an archangel. He knows he's almost certainly going to die. But protecting Charlie and her child matters more than his own life. For the first time, Gabriel hesitates. He cannot understand why a human would willingly sacrifice himself for someone else. Then Michael smiles. He quietly tells Gabriel, "This is what you've forgotten. Humanity isn't perfect. People lie, they fail, they make terrible mistakes. But they also love, they forgive, and when it truly matters, they're willing to give everything for one another. Those qualities cannot be measured by power alone." Enraged, Gabriel attacks. Michael throws himself into the fight one last time. The battle reaches its climax as both archangels exchange devastating blows. Finally, Michael manages to drive his weapon into Gabriel, defeating him after an exhausting struggle. The mighty archangel collapses. For a brief moment, everything becomes completely silent. The possessed humans outside stop moving. The terrifying voices disappear. It feels as though the nightmare has finally ended. But Michael knows his own journey is over. His mortal body has suffered too much damage. He looks toward Charlie, Jeep, and the newborn child. He tells them that their fight isn't finished. The child must survive. Whatever destiny heaven saw in this baby, it still exists. Moments later, Michael dies. Charlie and Jeep are devastated. The one person who stood between humanity and extinction is gone. Then something extraordinary happens. A brilliant light fills the sky. Michael's body begins to glow. Large white wings slowly emerge once again. The rebellion that once stripped him of his grace has been forgiven. God never speaks. No voice comes from the heavens. But the message is clear. Michael's faith in humanity has been rewarded. He has become an archangel once more. Without saying a single word, Michael rises into the sky and disappears. The possessed humans collapse where they stand. The threat is over. Charlie, Jeep, and the surviving members of the group leave the ruined diner behind. Charlie now holds her baby with pride instead of fear. At the beginning of the story, she questioned whether she was ready to become a mother. Now she understands that this child represents hope, not just for her, but for all of humanity. The film ends with Charlie, Jeep, and the baby driving toward an uncertain future. The world has survived, for now. But many questions remain unanswered. Why was the baby so important? Why did God order humanity's destruction in the first place? And what role will this child play in the future? Legion never fully explains these mysteries. Instead, it leaves viewers with a powerful message. Even when humanity seems lost, there is always the possibility of redemption. Michael believed that people deserved one more chance, not because they were perfect, but because they were capable of choosing love over hatred, sacrifice over selfishness, and hope over despair. In the end, that belief changed everything. The armies of heaven were stopped. Humanity was given another opportunity to prove its worth. And one ordinary child became the symbol of a future that even the angels could not predict.